Hello, I'm Stephen and welcome to the Invisible Man channel. I hope you're well. Today is a preview of the Brighton game, but we're also going to reflect a little on the Champions League draw and what our aspirations are in that competition, as well as touching on transfers. But first, we have to talk about United. I can't not talk about United, quite frankly. They were pathetic again during the week, getting beat on penalties, and all we've heard for months is cultural reset, the system, the players, the this, the that, and the other. And quite frankly, it's amazing what they're getting away with at the moment. But let's start with a cultural reset and the dream team that Jim Radcliffe brought in. I mean, who's left? Cox, I think that's it. We've got the cyclist, what was his name? Brailsford. He's gone. Talking about marginal gains. Marginal gains. How about the big bloody obvious ones first? You don't need to get marginal gains just yet. Dan Ashworth, he's gone after paying gardening leave, then disagreeing with him and then kicking him out. And then there's Omar Barada, the ex-City man, who, quite frankly, I think is in cloud cuckoo land. If you think United are going to be winning the league for their 150th anniversary, I think I'm more likely to be 150 before United win the league. But there we go. And it's just a bit of a pathetic little showing over there, isn't it? They had Ten Hag, who was obviously crackers. So they brought in Amorim, who essentially Ten Hag in a nice coat with a nice hairdo, isn't he? But he's a menace. He's a menace. He's already cost them millions of pounds already. It cost them, I think, £8 million to hire him and his entourage. Let's call them that. I won't go as far as calling them coaching staff. His entourage. It cost them millions in merit payments. I think it was 7th when they took over. They finished 15th last season. They missed out on Europe, so that's going to cost them a fortune. And then binning players. I mean, say what you want about Garnacho, Rashford, Højlund, Anthony, and I'm sure there's a few more. Say what you want about them, but they're worth more than he's going to be getting for them. All on the strength of they don't fit his system. And what's his system achieved? Playing well in Portugal for a few months. I mean, it's a bit loose, isn't it? That they're all going in on him, so happily and blindly. I mean, it's more religious than based on anything steeped in reality. But they talk about this system, and I keep hearing pundits after pundits saying, "Oh, he never changes his system. He never changes his system. He always sticks to it." A lot of rubbish. He changes it every week when I watch them. It's usually when they're 1-0 down and he sticks Maguire up front when they're in the shit. I've always said he's Ten Hag with good PR. He knows how to chat the media up. He knows how to answer a good question. Doesn't know how to answer it well. He'll always answer it. Honest to a fault, they call him. I just say it's a bit of a bellend. But I think the PR went out the window this week, though, didn't it? When you're sat losing to Grimsby, your team looking for inspiration, looking for something, and you're there fiddling around with magnets. Tactics. You're losing against Grimsby. What do you think the tactics are? Dominate the ball and create chances. Bloody magnet. I don't want to sound all Sam Allardyce or Dean Saunders, but come on, tactics board against Grimsby in public. Not a good look. Never mind sitting there shaking like a shitting dog when your team's taking penalties and you can't face to watch them take penalties against Grimsby. I mean, it's not the look, is it? And I know people talk about optics. It's not about optics, but sometimes it is. You are what people think you are. And if you look like a weakling, people will treat you like a weakling. And with Ollie being sacked from Besiktas last night, maybe he'll be back at the wheel. Maybe back at the wheel soon. But, a shout to Grimsby, though. I saw their owner, chairman, some capacity like that. He was on the Athletics podcast. Very nice of them to let... It's very nice of a United podcast to let a Grimsby representative on, but there you go. And he come across really, really well, like could have his jib. So it'll be interesting to see what they do in the coming years. As I mentioned on the short recently, I watched Grimsby a couple of years ago against Altrincham. So you never know, Altrincham. You could be beating United any year soon. Enough of United. Let's move on to City and what we're here for. I'll kick off with transfers. I'm a little bit bored with them. I expect you are too, because not a lot seems to be going on. And I know there's an industry around transfers, and you get minute by minute accounts of add-ons and what the player said and what his agent said and all the rest of it. But I think with City, we're not used to this sort of activity, inactivity at the same time. We used to getting our business done early and then watching everybody else scramble around. But I think, Akanji, bad luck to it, he's going. Good luck to him wherever he goes, whether it's Palace, whether it's Tottenham, whether it's AC Milan. I think he'll do a good job wherever he goes. And he's been really good for us. 15 million quid, was it 3 years ago? Played a variety of positions. Yeah, been really, really good. But I think he's been on the downward trend over the last 12 months or so. So if we can get the money back, is another squad place gone, so that can be filled with someone like Kusanov. I think that's and it's a good move all round. So hopefully that happens. And then we could touch on Savio. Actually, let's touch on that first. I don't know what happened here. I don't know how it got to a point where Spurs felt confident enough to bid, but then in the end City said, "Oh, actually, he's not for sale." Is it because we can't get a replacement? I think that's probably the reason, really. But this was 2 weeks ago when Spurs started bidding, and you're thinking, well, surely City worded the replacement up then. You wouldn't wait till now and then knock on his door and say, "Do you mind if we paid €100 million for you and paid you $400,000 a week?" It doesn't work like that, does it? It takes a lot of effort. Sponsorships, image rights, bonuses, etc., before you can get a deal like this done. I know it happened with Fabinho, but I think that was very much a one-off, and it was 15 years ago. So, I don't think that's more than 15 years ago. I don't think that's a good marker. But, is he going to be good this year? I don't know. Am I gutted he's not going? No, because I think there might be something there. Am I gutted we didn't get Rodrigo? No, because whilst he might be an upgrade, he might not be. Would I have been happy to take 70 million for him and take the chance? Yes. So it's all a bit of much of a muchness for me. So hopefully he can get himself in gear now and get cracking and improve on his one goal. I mean, I thought you can't not improve on his one goal, really, can he? So hopefully, if he can get between 5 and 10 this year, and then a good World Cup. If we're still looking to sell him, then sell him. But if not, hopefully he can make a good ground in this season just to play next season, and then we sell Doku and then take it from there. Because I still don't think there is room for both of them. And then on to Donnarumma. Do we want him? Do we want him now? Is it a bit late? Are we really going to sign a £40 million, $300,000 a week goalkeeper over the weekend? Is that something that normal teams do, is it? This sort of thing's usually boxed off weeks ago. So the reality is we could finish the game against Brighton and not know who our goalkeeper's going to be for the next match. That's 3 games away. That's after 3 games, So it could be Ederson, it could be Donnarumma, it could be Trafford. Now, I was quite vocal about Trafford, saying I don't think he's up to it. But if the alternative is scratching around for a goalkeeper who, for that sort of dough, at the last minute, his debut's going to be at home to United, or Ederson, who's got one foot out the door, but been told you can't go. I'm half tempted to say, this is your bed now, lie in it. You've got we have project wingers, and you accept they're not going to score many goals. So why don't we have a project goalkeeper, except we're not really going to challenge for the league with him in net, but next season we might do. I don't think that's the way I'd like us to operate, but if that's the view they've taken, that's the view they've taken. Are we going to sell Ederson and then sign Donnarumma over the weekend? I mean, it just doesn't seem likely. I mean, these phrases might be out of date by the time this goes out. It's 3:10 on Friday as we're recording. So I might be wrong. This might be, cutting room floor material, but it just seems a bit panicky. It seems a bit up in the air. And when this news first came out about 3 weeks ago, I thought it would be done in a couple of days. But this is an easy deal. This, they don't want him. He wants us. Ederson wants out. Someone will take him. And here we are approaching the 3rd game of the season, where Trafford's already thrown one in. What if there's a nightmare against Brighton? What do we do then? Get on the phone and say, Galatasaray, we'll take whatever, because we need Ederson out so we can bring Donnarumma in? Or do we say, Ederson, right, you're not going anywhere because this guy's fluffed his chance. You're staying until for a year. It all seems a bit messy. I mean, why wasn't it done this week? What are we arguing for with Galatasaray? What are we arguing for with PSG? there's a cost of doing and a cost of not doing, which I always say. And if the cost of not doing Donnarumma is Trafford in net for the rest of the season, then, well, what do you think is going to happen? Because I don't think we're going to be in the top 2, put it that way. And if that was the stated aim at the start of the season, then they should have acted much quicker. But if they're happy to roll with it, and see how it goes, I hope let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. But it's not ideal, is it? It's not ideal at all. It's not ideal. Okay, so the weekend's match. We've had some good news. Which I'll bring you in a second. You might have heard it by the time it comes out anyway. But Brighton away. Always a tricky game, but I think our record's decent there. We won the league there a few years ago. And last year, when we got beat, we should have been 3-0 up at half-time, but weren't. So hopefully we can take our chances this season. As far as Brighton are concerned, they've had a mixed bag to start the season, drawing at home to Fulham. Fulham drew against United. So what does that say about Brighton, or what does that say about Fulham? Who knows? It's still early days. But they got beat Everton. I suppose most teams going to Everton their first game at the new ground are likely to struggle. I think by looks at Brighton played okay, but Everton just got the goals. But then they beat Oxford during the week 6-0 away from home. I think it's a bit of a reserve team they played, but it still gives them confidence, particularly their new Greek striker who scored 7 in 22 games for Olympiacos in Greece. They paid 30 million quid for him. So I know Premier League money they are a bit scatter cash, but this guy seems like one for the future rather than one for now. But it'll be interesting to see how he plays and how he gets on, and if he poses us any threat at all. But the ones that will cause us a threat, I think, Welbeck and Matoma, assuming they're fit. And I'm going to assume they're fit for the purposes of this conversation. Matoma generally plays left wing, so who are we going to play at right back? Who are we going to play? Are we going to go, forget it, we'll just play our way and, see how Lewis gets on? Are we going to play Nunes and have him bombing forward and let Matoma chase him back? Or are we going to try and play with Kusanov and have someone there a little bit more solid? I'm not sure yet. I'll come up to that when I do my predicted 11. But, Welbeck, weirdly I like him. I don't know, he just seems like a decent chap, and he's a good Premier League player and, again, always a threat. But they have sold a few players, haven't they? Is it João Pedro this year? He was good for them last year. So, been to see how they get on, particularly with their young manager again in for this season. What are we looking for? What do we want to see? Well, I'll tell you what I want to see. I want to see Foden starting. I'd like to see Rodgers get 30 minutes at the end, and then he can go away and play for Spain. He's been picked, which I think I'm happy with, actually, because I think we got United first game back. And I think we need him for that. I think he can run them over on his own, the way they're going. And they've got games away at Bulgaria and Turkey, which are not ideal. I imagine they'll be quite competitive. But maybe, if he can get started one half an hour and another, then he'll be raring to go to face United. So that's something I'm hopeful for. I don't want him to start tomorrow, though. I think that's just too risky. Too risky. But he does need to get cracking at some point, doesn't he? So if not now, when is the time? But I still maintain 30 minutes now, and then let Spain do the rest of the legwork. In terms of starting 11s, I'm going to go Trafford in net. I don't think we're going to bin him off after one game and panic and throw Ederson in. If we do, then all bets are off, aren't they? In terms of who our keeper's going to be for the rest of the season. But I think it'll be Trafford in net. Nori is fine. That was the good news I was referring to. That's what Pep said today in his press conference. So him at left back, Stones and Diaz in defence, centre defence, and I'd go for Kusanov at right back. I think he needs to play. I think him sitting on the bench. I know he came on against Wolves for a bit, but I think we need to get him on and get him some game time. And there's big games coming up, isn't there? There's United, there's Arsenal, there's Champions League games starting. So yeah, I think we need to get him playing and fixed. I think we all know we can do it. It's just who's he playing instead of. And I think whilst Lewis played well against Wolves, there's some criticism about him against Spurs. I don't know if I buy that criticism, but nevertheless there was. So yeah, I'd throw him in. I'd play him against Nunes every day of the week. Midfield, I'd go for Burnley, Nico G and Reinders. I don't want to see us get run over or be overly risky and unnecessary like we were against Spurs. I'd go for this and run it through like we did against Wolves, and hopefully the same outcome in terms of Burnley playing well, Reinders getting on the end of things and being a goal threat. Left wing, I'd start Mamouche. I know I criticised her a bit on whenever my video was for the Tottenham game about being a bit panicky at times, losing concentration at times, not taking a deep breath at finishing. But I think he's a goal threat. I don't want to see Doku for a variety of reasons. Because I don't think he scores many goals for a start. But I'll start Mamouche, Haaland up front. Hopefully he's had heading practice this week. Fingers crossed. And I'd start Phil. I thought he was lively when he came on against Spurs, and we need him fit, don't we, for this season? We need him. We don't need him Player of the Year, Phil. We don't need Player of the Year, Phil. We just need Phil to be Phil, just not last season's Phil. But even then, he was our second leading scorer, wasn't he? So, he knows where the net is. So let's get him fit and firing, get him playing against Brighton, and then hopefully he's ready for United in a few weeks as well, because he does like a goal against United, doesn't he? And I'm going to go 3-1 City. I'll give them a goal because I think our defence looked certainly did look a bit unsettled against Tottenham. Not so much against Wolves, but I think Brighton are probably better than Wolves. So we'll stick with 3-1 City. I think I've gone for 3-1 every game. And I'm going to go goal scorers, Foden, Haaland and Mamouche. Someone said Mamouche hasn't scored an away goal. They must have meant in the league, because he scored away at Bournemouth in the Cup last year, didn't he? Come off the bench and scored. Unless that was classed as an own goal, but I don't think it was. So 3-1 City, and then we'll be 3 games, 2 wins, 6 points. And with Liverpool and Arsenal playing on Sunday after us, they both can't win, can they? So hopefully it'll give us a bit of confidence going into the next round of fixtures between United and the next international break. And let me know what your thoughts. Put your score predictions in the comments, please. And just to round up the Champions League draw, we had Dortmund at home, Real Madrid away, Bayer Leverkusen at home, Villarreal away, Napoli at home, Bodo Glimt away, Galatasaray at home, and Monaco away. I think that's pretty friendly, to be honest. Dortmund at home, they're tricky. Real Madrid away, bored of them, to be honest with you. They're some good fun, aren't they? Galatasaray, that'll be a good bunch. Napoli, that'll be good, seeing Kev come back. Monaco away, we've had beaten there in the past, but, I think it's friendly. So I'm expecting a top 8 finish. None of this playoff carry on like last season. None of this might get relegated or eliminated, however they characterise it. I'm expecting a top 8 finish with that, providing we've got ourselves in gear, which I don't see why we wouldn't have by that time. Hopefully everyone going down to the game to Brighton enjoys it, and we get a good result. Thanks for listening. Please continue to like, subscribe, and click the notification button. And any feedback would be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much, and see you for the review early next week.